Dinner. Welcome back, guys. Bear down. I'm getting tired, man. I'm getting exhausted from this off season. I need to balance things a little bit better, but I am doing a nooner. Atmos, you wanted a nooner, we got a nooner. So today is a nooner. I got to fit it in between my 9 to 5, and it's easier for me to do this live than to get it all presented for tonight because I got kids tonight and activities, and then tomorrow we'll go live with Carl. We'll give a better update tomorrow, but this is worth updating. We'll try to keep it compact for those who want to see the updates of this because the salary cap has become ultra clear. All the contracts are now pretty much in place. And from this point forward, you'll see us adding pieces, but it'll be pieces that don't really affect the salary cap. We know the value of the draft picks, of the 7 picks we have. If we trade down or if we do something in the draft, it will change it slightly, but not, particular, not crazy. But there are some interesting things that happen with the salary cap, not just us, but Tevin Jenkins, for those who didn't see, Tevin Jenkins signed for $3 million with the Browns, which is abso-freaking-lutely insane. So there's a couple things to update here. Let me jump to a couple of those real quick. We'll make this bigger. Let's go back a screen here. All right, so first of all, I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. It was not Antoine Randall. I got to correct this for those who haven't seen yet. This is Reese Hicks. So I had it wrong. Reese Hicks is the West Coast area scout. This is him in a press conference from last year, so I snipped it so you guys can see. It's Reese Hicks. He was the one at UNLV's Pro Day. He's also the only person at Boise State's Pro Day today. So Boise State having their Pro Day. That does not mean that we're out on Ashton Jeanty. Doesn't mean that we don't like Ashton Jeanty. It's just he's the West Coast area scout, and the Bears are pulled in different directions today. So we'll show who has their pro days going on and what's going on there. So I'm not going to show all the ones from the past because that becomes monotonous when we do all that. And I will get to some of the comments here. I do appreciate you guys. It doesn't mean Ashton Jeanty's out. They do have a top 30 lined up for him. I do love the LOL there. Ashton Jeanty is at it's his pro day today. He's running the 40 right now as we speak, so I don't know what it is at this very second. Oh, he skipped out running at his pro day. Is that true, NJ? I hadn't heard that. I heard they were starting the 40 right now. He didn't run at the combine, so I don't know if we're mixing those up. If anybody knows anything actual on that, that would be very interesting. He did not run at. That's interesting. Maybe he's just waiting for teams at his individual workouts. The Bears will definitely do that at the top 40 visit or top 30 visit for sure. So if that's true, oh, that's wild because I heard they were starting the 40 at the pro day there right now. He did the bench earlier. I didn't see the results of the bench. I've been trying to work and keep track of all this stuff. But here's the big ones. And so we'll start with Texas first. Texas was yesterday, and the Bears were in full force at Texas's pro day. They met with Jahdae Barron and with Andrew Makuba last night for dinner. So it's kind of going around as a rumor that the Bears are meeting with Andrew Makuba as a top 30 visit. That is not true. They met with Andrew Makuba and Jahdae Barron for dinner the night before. Now, actually, that's speculation whether it was dinner. We know we met with them in a meeting with just the two of them, individual meeting with the two defensive backs the night before. It's speculated it was over dinner, but 3 different teams met with them. So they might have been at dinner. They might have just, met in the hotel lobby or whatever, but they spent individual time with those two. So that's important. Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, and Eric Bieniemy were all there. And one of the big news on that is Jaden blew past everybody in his 40 time. He absolutely slaughtered his 40 time. And in fact, let's try to go to Twitter and just look up here. So let's remove this one, add that one to stage. This is just Twitter. We'll make me small, make me a little guy on here. And so here is Ewers throwing. Here's Jaden Blue yesterday. Ran a 4.25/4.28, different time according to different scouts, but it's definitely sub 4.3 at the pro day this afternoon. Blue ran a 4.3 at the NFL Combine. Though it was discovered after he had a slight tear in his groin. So that is huge. And we know Eric Bieniemy was there at the pro day, so they could be looking at him. I'm not the biggest fan of Jaden Blue, but when you have someone that can run a sub 4.3 speed as your running back, I mean, it gives you options. And we know Ben Johnson likes his quick guys. So Jahdae Barron didn't said he didn't want to wear the official pro day gear. I haven't seen it. I'm just kind of scrolling here with you guys. None of that stuff matters to me. Isaiah Bond does have a top 30 visit scheduled with the Bears. For those who have not heard that, I'll show you the updated top 30 here in a second. Matthew Golden was blazing yesterday. Isaiah Bond, you can see right here, they have top 30 visits set for Falcons, Bears, Packers, and Rams. Ran a 4.34 and had a 34-inch vert. Jay Barron. So anyways, it was a big pro day, and the Bears were in full force at the Texas Pro Day. So you can see some of the ones that the Bears would probably focus on at the pro day here. You've got Jay Barron, Kelvin Banks. I mean, so there's a reason to go. Alfred Collins is becoming one of my before this season happened, guys. Alfred Collins was considered a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder. He had such an impactful big year this year that he is definitely probably at the latest round 3, in my opinion. So Bears could have him on their radar for sure. Gunnar Helm is another one they met with at the Combine. Andrew Makuba is definitely on the list. Baron Sorrell is a decent project later on. Jaden Blue. So there's a lot of options. I don't think Quinn Ewers is on the Bears radar. He's just one of the ones that was one of the top highlights there. And then today we have Boise State with Ashton Genty and Ahmad Hazenstein, later round edge prospect. As far as I know, the West Coast area scout was the only one in attendance at Boise State's pro day. All the brass was at Ohio State's pro day. Josh Simmons, who put out like 28 to 30. We'll look it up in just a second. Put up a ton of bench reps, but there's rumors circulating. This happens every year. I hate the rumor cycle, but multiple scouts are saying he acts like a JUCO guy who doesn't have to put the work in. He acts lazy. In fact, there's a quote from one of them saying he's a F dash 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 6-letter F. You can, kind of assume what you want to assume with that one. So I don't know if Josh Simmons is giving off the wrong vibe and aura. I also hate taking these rumors. After last year, I learned my lesson with the whole Caleb Williams thing, that sometimes those rumors can be unwarranted and people can run away with some of those rumors. Josh Simmons, a very good prospect if the Bears want to go that route for tackle to replace Braxton Jones. Mika Egbuka, everyone's saying he ran a speedy 4.4 time, but before this year, they kind of said he was in a sub 4.4, so it seemed a little slow to me. Tyleik Williams came up on his 40 limping. I mean, he fell to the ground. We'll pull that up in just a minute. So that's something interesting. I haven't been high on Tyleik Williams either way because his pressures between snaps, it's like 25. It's one of the worst in this class. He's a high second-round grade. A lot of Bears fans want Tyleik Williams because of his ability to stuff the run. And I agree, he's a big body guy who can stuff the run, but he gets no pressure. So he's not going to – the Bears have talked extensively how you collapse from the inside out, how they need a big pressure guy on the inside. And that is not Tyleik Williams. So JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, big options at edge, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson at running back. Now, I don't have it confirmed where Eric Bieniemy was today, but it's rumored that he was there with Ryan Poles and with Ben Johnson, and as well as somebody else was there too. That's just a rumor, though. I haven't seen any video confirmation. So he may have been there checking out Quinshon Judkins. They might have been in full force at Ohio State's pro day, but I'm not going to report that one because that was just rumors, but no actual pictures. Didn't see any pictures of that. And what's our offensive line coach's name? Rocher. Man, I can't think of it at this moment, but he was down at LSU's pro day, and a lot of people say that's for Will Campbell. The big news this morning, the big thing is Will Campbell had 33-inch arms again. Guys, it doesn't freaking matter what they measure at their pro day. It was 32 and 5/8 at the Combine. The Combine is the official measurement for the arms. Yeah, I think you're right, Grover. I think it was 33 reps for Simmons on. We'll get to it. I'm going to pull up Twitter and we'll go to their pro day because those are the big ones from today, and we'll just look at some stuff there. Man, there's so many good comments, guys. New York Giants in the draft. It seems like they're going to put off quarterback for one more year. Now the thing is, which teams are pushing quarterback to the second round? Because I had this chat with my buddy who's a Colts fan, and he said they're looking at Quinn Ewers. He says, I'm pissed off at that. I'd rather wait for a quarterback until next year. And if you take a quarterback, if you don't have a quarterback, they have Anthony Richardson, obviously. And if you don't have your set quarterback, who's your set guy, any team who doesn't have that, if they take a flyer on a second round guy like, Quinn Ewers or Tyler Shaw or, many of these guys who might fall to the second round, quarterback in the second round on is a steal if you don't have your quarterback. I mean, that is it's an absolute steal to take any quarterback in the second round and just take a shot on them. Because if they don't work out, next year's draft class is freaking phenomenal. So it looks like that's what the Giants are doing. They've got, they signed Wilson, Russell Wilson there. And then, they also got Jameis Winston on a cheap contract. What are they going to do? Man, it doesn't seem like they're picking quarterback at the top of the draft. If you're asking me to read the tea leaves, that's just my take on it. But so other guys there, you've also got Lathan Ransom, who I think is a good option. You've got Seth McLaughlin and Cody Simon, who I like as well. And then going down to LSU, where it sounds like Rocher was there, the Bears offensive line coach, not just for Will Campbell. That's, he has 33-inch arms now. I don't think they even like 33-inch arms. And the thing is, Will Campbell, when they were interviewing him down there, they asked him about it. He had attitude. He copped like Tevin Jenkins' attitude about it. The whole struggle with Tevin Jenkins when the Bears wanted to put him at guard. There was that attitude about, I'm a tackle, I'm not moving. And then eventually he did. And then he had a better attitude. And then he came around. But I think he kind of left a little bit of a sore spot with a lot of Bears fans. And then later on, obviously, a lot of Bears fans crapped on him this year. And why would he go sign somewhere else for $3 million? Well, he didn't want to be here anymore. He wasn't happy here anymore after this last season. A lot of fans were upset with his availability is probably the best way to put it. And when you have that, it's not a culture fit anymore. If you don't fit in, you don't fit in. And that's just kind of basically the spot where it was. Well, Will Campbell behind the mic today was just basically saying it was BS. Like, it's BS. I'm so sick of this crap. Like, it was a negative attitude thing on my part. The Bears are going to bring him in for a top 30. So the Bears will get the best view of this. This is the one part that I would love to be the fly on the wall. It's for those top 30 visits to see how players interact, to see what they do with the coaching staff, to see the attitude. And we know the Bears are high on character, high on guys who have the team first mentality, high on guys that, don't have any character concerns or issues like that. So if Will Campbell shows up like that and has that type of issue, you probably bank on the Bears not to draft him. But are the Bears going to draft a guard at 10? I don't think it's impossible. We haven't re-signed Joe Thuney yet. The Bears need depth, and you need quality depth. So I don't think anything is out of the picture in the first round. And yes, I agree. Ashton Genty could be our first round pick. I don't think anything is out of the picture at all. So there's multiple options here as we get towards the draft, and we'll see what the tea leaves read. So we'll get through this real quick. Will Campbell, Braden Swinson, Mason Taylor, who I think is a big reason. I've been searching to see if our tight ends coach, to see if he was there. I have not found anything yet, but I think that's one big reason for LSU. We're having Mason Taylor in for top 30, so there's one thing there. Bazai Alexander, a good option later. Savion Jones, a decent edge later. Emory Jones Jr., who we did meet with at the Combine, I think is a good option for later as well at guard or tackle. So there's decent options there for the Bears. We'll see what they end up coming up with. But here's some of those highlights from that. And you can see the top right. I know the Bear Down logo is covering that. We can try to make that smaller so you can see it. But cornerback Jahdae Barron and safety Andrew Makuba. They ended up saying how clean they met with the Bears, Saints, and Steelers on Monday evening. So no, it's not a top 30 visit, but they did meet with them. So let's get to the salary cap. I know a lot of you guys are interested in that. Here's the visit. Okay, so I gotta hit everything. So those who missed it, there is the updated Combine visits. This is 2 nights ago when I went scouring. This is the things that I found the update on. I don't have my pointer because we're on StreamYard. It's not the same as when I do it on the other format where I pre-make a video. Sometimes that's why I like to pre-make a video. But the orange ones were the ones that were updated and added from all the research that I did. So Walter Nolan, James Pierce, Mike Green, Quinshad Judkins, Travion Henderson, Jonah Monheim, Seth McLaughlin, Armand Membu, Pat Bryant, Will Johnson, all met with the Combine. So there's 46 out of 60. We don't know it doesn't mean we didn't meet with other guys. A lot of people said, no Kenny Grant. Well, we could have met with Kenny Grant. We just don't. I haven't found any interviews that said that or any reports that said that. But there's 14 missing from this combine 60 list. For those who aren't familiar, the Bears can meet with 60 guys at the combine for an average of 10 to 15 minutes per visit. So it's a shorter, condensed. Just get an idea on guys, but they're kind of separated here into segments of position. And you can see Mason Grant, the defensive tackles up top. And I do like that Riley Mills one. I like the option of Riley Mills. Alfred Collins, both really good options later if Mason Graham doesn't fall and Kenny Grant isn't on the Bears' radar. I don't know if he is or not. I'm just saying I like it. Alfred Collins and Riley Mills, my best options for defensive tackles later. I'm going to put a whole list together, guys, of positions of where I would want to draft certain guys. My dream list for the draft. I will have that together before the draft. We're 29 days out from the draft. So we're coming right up there, and we're gonna have tons of information for you guys when that comes. And I will be going live. I'm thinking about doing something crazy and doing a 24-hour stream. Maybe we're not there yet. Maybe for a charity. You see what Tom Grossi does, and I love it. So thinking about doing something like that, but and then we can just go over players after the draft's over. We can do highlights. We can do research. You guys can watch as I do the research that I do. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. I know nobody's going to want to tune in for 24 straight hours, and the channel's not big enough to do that yet. But it's crazy thoughts I have going through my head. Crazy thoughts. I just got crazy thoughts all the time. So Andrew Makuba on there. You can see Kevin Winston. So safety, defensive ends, tight ends, running backs. And you can see Cam Scadaboo was added to that list. And linebackers in the bottom right, center, tons of offensive linemen, wide receivers, and cornerbacks up top. So there we are. All right, here is the updated top 30 visits, just so you guys can have a look at that real quick. And it does not include Andrew Makuba as much as I would like it to. They met with him at his pro day. And then I added this for those who didn't see on Twitter. The little numbers above their head is the consensus. This is an average of all the major platforms where they have these players going. That's the consensus of where these guys go. So now there are 7 on the list. Some people don't have all 7 on there, but these are the ones I've confirmed. And like I said, I'm not adding Andrew Makuba because that was the same thing as Jalen Walker. You see up top, and I know the Bear Down logo is in the way there. I'm sorry. This is StreamYard. I can't take it off right there. Jalen Walker was rumored for the same reason. The Bears spent significant time with him at the Georgia Pro Day, and then it was rumored he would come for a top 30 visit. I haven't found anything to confirm that. Same with Andrew Makuba. People have now spread the rumor that he's coming for a top 30 visit. But that one I was able to research, and I found out the Bears met with him last night. So this is a live stream, Robert E. This is absolutely a live stream. So I'm on my lunch break, and I compile some of the stuff in the middle of work, and then I do that while I'm getting ready for it. So then we'll present to you. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in. I am not paying enough attention. I agree. I'd rather I agree. I'm just saying nothing's off the board for the Bears, and I don't see the whole context of your guys' conversation. The chat is great. You guys are great. I mean, all of you guys. Reese Reed, Skeletor, Team Score. Trax is in here. Chicago Sports Podcast. Appreciate you having you in, buddy. JC1, Antmus, Grover, NJ, Erica, Langevin. Man, lots of chats going on. Squeegee, Bear Down, brother. Bear Down. Appreciate every time you tune in. Vizzo Joe. Skeletor, Levante Rogers. We got lots in the chat. Joe Brinko. I'm trying not to miss anybody, but I know I'm scrolling through quick, so I apologize, guys. Jay Capone to Don. Bears fan. Lots and lots of you guys. So bear down to every single one of you guys. So the numbers above their head, you can see Mason Taylor there. He's consensus projected to go 55. Josh Connerly Jr. projected 32. Ashton Genty 7. Will Campbell 10. Nick Martin 179. So you would assume that's that 5th round pick. We're looking at those guys. It would have to be the pick before where their consensus is. You're going to draft them higher than other teams would. Isaiah Bond, you would assume, would be one of those 2nd rounders. Possibly we're looking to see if some of these guys fall. Maybe Isaiah Bond falls to the 3rd, and then we draft him at 72. And then Brashard Smith at 153. And this is just the outside world. I agree with that. I understand that, guys. Our boards, the consensus boards, are not necessarily what the reality of boards are. So that what will Will Campbell to the Bears look like? It would look like basically learning and, do we extend Joe Thuney at that point? I would see him being a backup. And yeah, you can take a backup at 10. I know a lot of Bears fans wouldn't love it, but it's possible. It's possible. Bob Killen, appreciate you always. Still feeling like the trade back would be our best move. Totally understand the feeling for that. We need a couple extra picks to fill all those needs. So let's look at this real quick. I got to show this, just some highlights here from this. Let's move me off. I'm not important on this. And let's go to Ohio State's Pro Day, because there's the big thing. Ohio State Pro Day. And let's see if we can zoom in on this just a little bit. That's a little too bit. There we go. Okay, so Ohio State's Pro Day. Still a little bit too bit. There we go. 6 NFL head coaches, 5 GMs, and 141 NFL personnel coaches were credentialed, and we know that from that, Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson were there, rumored of other guys from the Bears being there as well. Here's Josh Simmons, 5 months removed from tearing his patellar tendon, did a brief work at Ohio State today. I don't know if you guys saw as well the video of him doing his workouts. I think his knee looks fine. Some people are kind of spreading some of those rumors that it doesn't look good from when he was benching, because he got up and he has a big brace on his leg. When you got a brace, you're going to walk a little bit differently. You can see the brace is off for this little exercise, and he's moving just fine. So he was trying to show off the teams. See, can we see Ben Johnson or Ryan Poles? I always want to see. It kind of looks like Ben Johnson right there, but I don't think that's him. Anybody here? All right, I don't see him. Either way. All right, so there's Emeka Ibuka. You can see they say he ran a 4.46, 4.49. They're excited about that. But, every indication before the season was that he ran a sub 4.4. So to me, that seems a little slow. I don't think the Bears are going for him anyways. So there's Pro Gay guys. We're just kind of scrolling through this, giving you guys an update. Will Howard, not interested in him. There's Ibuka again. Will Howard. Let's see here. Marvin Harrison Jr. hanging out. Sorry, Marvin, you're not as good as Rome. We got Rome. Screw it. All right. Let me add in here. Chicago Bears, just see if we can find a couple. Or we'll put Josh Simmons in first so you guys can see the bench press thing. Let's see. Here's the bench press of Josh Simmons. See how he has that big wrap on his leg? He's pounding him out. People are criticizing his technique. It is more tricep when you're doing more inside bench. For those who aren't familiar with working out or those types of things, when you're doing more inner bench press like that, you are doing more triceps. So I don't love it, but either way, he's athletically gifted. 33 reps on the bench is what Stacey Dale says there. And so anyways, when he gets up from this, walking around, you're going to be a little stiff-legged on that. You got a giant wrap on your legs, so I think there's a little too much ado about nothing on that one. All right, let's just put Bears in here. Bears, Ohio State Pro Day. It's just an easy place to go, show some basic information, guys. This isn't the deep dive stuff, but Bears, Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles are both at Ohio State's Pro Day. What could they be looking for? Good question, because there's so many freaking options. Here's Stacey Dale's at the Pro Day, so you can see there Ben Johnson from the Bears and Ryan Poles from the Bears are there. That's Justin Fields a couple years ago. So anyways, there's that. Let's get into the salary cap. I know you guys love your salary cap discussion. So let's remove this. Let's get back to here. Let's get to here. And here's the beginning of it. So right there, front and center, you can kind of see, spoiler alert, where the salary cap stands right now. I'm going to take you guys to my little spreadsheet, give you some updates, give you some ideas of it. Where we go. He's walking He wasn't walking very gingerly when you see him on that, the rep where he's out there in the middle of the field, scooting back and forth. He's coming back from a giant injury, but he's completely healthy. So the thing is, the Bears are probably going to bring him in for a top 30 visit. That's not confirmed yet. But if they want to see an inside look and get their guys to take a look at him, what better way? So you can see here, Tevin Jenkins, $3 million. He's not the main focus here, but I just wanted to show that's crazy how little he went for. So he's He's signing a value contract, a prove-it contract is what he's signing. And the Bears sit here at around $8.784 million. I will explain the details of why, but let's first go to Spotrac and show you what Spotrac is showing. So let's see if we can make it bigger to hide those ads on the side. Man, Spotrac always has the ads out like galore. Yeah, anyways, can't always get rid of them. So here's the Bears in 2025. Here's the entire roster. As we scroll down, you'll see some of these updated ones. There's Dayot and Dingbo, who's backloaded quite a bit. You got, let's see here, Chris Williams, non-guaranteed. Right there. Durham Smythe is a new one that was updated today. $2.5 million. It was rumored he'd be around $2 million. So he's $2.5 million, which is great for a tight end 3, one that can block. It's a great value. I'm very happy with it. As you know, we cut Gerald Everett and saved some cap there. Get down here. Travis Homer was cheaper than we thought. It was rumored around $2 million. He's $1.645 million. So that's fantastic. Olamide Zaccheaus is a huge one. $750,000 guaranteed, 1.5, coming off probably his best career year at 28. This is basically a prove-it contract again. He's having to come somewhere to prove it. He chose the Bears. He likes being with the option of Caleb Williams. But $1.5 million, when it was rumored it was around 2 to 4, possibly or higher end around 4, getting him for $1.5 million is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Same thing with Devin Duvernay, return specialist. It was rumored he was going to be around the same 2, 3, 4 million. 1.197 is basically a league minimum contract for his experience. I mean, not basically, it is. You see Scott Daly, his same experience level, not age, but experience level, 1.197. It's a league minimum contract. That to me is absolutely insane. I'll take it all day, every day. Stephen Carlson, league minimum contract, and the only one we're really waiting on is Nick McLeod. And his is rumored as well to be right in that $1 to $2 million range. League minimum for him, I believe, is 1.1 as well. So 1.119-ish range for him would be the league minimum for Nick McLeod. And it sounds like that's what it is. So Spotrac is showing 67. There's actually 68 on the roster. They're off on a couple things, like we don't have our 6th-round pick anymore. So this is wrong. 886. That is not part of our cap hit for our it's $11,770,000 is exactly what it is for our draft pool. I'll show that in just a second. So they've got us with $22 million in cap space after the top 51. That's not going to be accurate, just so you guys know. I'll get right to that. Let's remove this from the stage, stop sharing, and let's present our beautiful spreadsheet as we do the spreadsheets here. And sorry guys, I am not nailing the chat like I'd like to, but we got to get through all this stuff. So here's our spreadsheet. Here's the fun. So quick breakdown of the spreadsheet, just so you guys know exactly how this thing works. Here on the left side, this is the 53-man roster count. Here on the right side, that's the 90-man roster count, because we know by camp time we'll get to 90-man roster. I don't count the ones that aren't going to count against the 51-man roster, so they're in orange. Green is where I signify. This is still my chart, so I realize it might not be completely what the Bears are thinking. For example, they might not be thinking that Chris Williams is expendable. I have him in green because I think he's expendable, and we can remove that. I'm still counting his contract as a top 51 contract, but I think he's expendable. I think we could definitely upgrade that position. So here on the right-hand side, you've got the 90-man count, 53-man count. After all this, you see we're 45 without the draft on the 53-man count. Add the draft to it, and it would be 52 because there's going to be 7 guys from the draft. So there's the cap pool from the draft. You also have to add the practice squad into that. And after that, we're sitting right at $8.78 million. This is the exact buffer space that Ryan Poles likes to sit in. Sorry, let's make this bigger. I know. Let's see if we can. No, can't make it any bigger. So it is what it is. So we'll leave me up here. Can't make it any bigger than it is. So this is the exact space, the exact size that Poles likes to go into. So that's why, I mean, if we do sign another contract, say we sign another league minimum contract, we find another guy like Nick McLeod, rumored at $1.25 million. If we slot him in there to round out the 53-man roster, it'll be right around $7.5 million. And this year, the Bears had a rollover of $6.128 million. So it's going to be right in that range. So we are pretty good on our 53-man after the draft. If you add 7 to the 68, we'll be at 75. So you'll see 15 more added somewhere, probably closer to league minimum options. Now, we could still cut, like I said, we could cut Chris Williams with no dead cap, 0 dead cap there. So we could save, take a league minimum contract there and replace it, or one of the draft spots and replace it. And you're saving some money there, up to 3.2 if it's replaced with a draft slot. So, and I like this comment. Sign Pryor back. Pryor, I think, is holding out for a starter position. Now, I know you can read those tea leaves and you can say, well, if Tevin Jenkins only got $3 million, how much will Matt Pryor get? Well, Matt Pryor started all last year. So he's probably holding out at his age saying, I want a shot to start somewhere. He's got no shot to start for the Bears. None whatsoever. Our starting 5 is set. Now, if he wants to have a quality spot at backup where he would, get a guaranteed, you're the guy if someone gets injured, we don't have depth in our backup. So we could do that. So I think it would be a situation where you're testing after the draft. Some of these guys won't sign till after the draft. So, and then the other thing I want to point out with this, sorry, let me get right back to this. We still have some needs, but those can be filled in the draft. And then next year, this is the estimated by multiple sources over the cap, Spotrac, estimated at $307 million. With our contracts, we don't have nearly as much room as until this goes up. We have some things to do. You need to re-sign Kyler Gordon. That's going to be a priority, and that's probably going to be roughly in the 12 to 13 million range. That's what nickel. That's the top of the nickel class. Okay, right now it's 10, 11, but with the salary cap going up, people are starting. They're going to get paid. So you're going to want to see the Bears lock in some of these contracts, before that salary cap bump. I would think Kyler Gordon would be a priority. The other one you hear about, Joe Thuney, no extension rumored, no extension done. I would think the Bears would want to get that done. I think Joe Thuney's a smart guy, and he's probably looking at this and saying, well, let's see, I've been consistent my entire career. This salary cap's going up, and some believe that could go up with the Netflix deal and the new deals that are coming down. $326 million by some that it's rumored to go up to. That would give us another $80 million in cap space next year with not a lot of needs next year. So the Bears can spend a little bit next year. We need to prioritize some of these extensions and then add quality pieces in the draft to continue to build around. So the Bears are in good shape, though. But you're going to see some of these big ones coming up as well later on. But we've got some pretty solid foundation laid for us for the future with these contracts. So I'll scroll through each one of these positions so you can see there's the quarterback room, there's the running back room, and who did I forget someone here? I don't think I forgot anybody. No, I think we're good, but we need to add one there for sure. Wide receivers, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Olamide Zaccheaus, Devin Duvernay, Tyler Scott. I do think we could run with 6 in the season. We haven't last year. Last year we really ran with 5, but they might not always dress for the squad. You'd see what happened as Tyler Scott could be a game day scratch again. We only take 47 out of the 53 to the games. So Tyler Scott was that last year. I don't know if the Bears are sold on him yet. Cole Kmet, Durham Smythe, Stephen Carlson, Jordan Murray, Joel Wilson. And here's the offensive line. And I do think maybe Ryan Bates, Ricky Stromberg. I don't know if a lot of people remember, Ricky Stromberg actually took a top 30 visit for the Bears a couple of years ago. So he's a guy we brought in with Arkansas for a top 30 visit. Interesting when the Commanders cut him that we snagged him up so quick. So we obviously liked him. Maybe we were looking to draft him 3 years ago. But anyways, injury plagued. And there's workout videos of him too. Just so you guys know, there's a lot of workout videos of him putting in the work this offseason. I always want to see that guy that does the Gervon Dexter work, that comes back beefed up and looks like a freaking stallion, who put the work in to try to, make this team. I think one of these guys could fill that slot there. And then we need an interior offensive lineman and a tackle in the draft. That would be my prediction as to what happens at this point. And then a defensive tackle and defensive end, I would think we'd need. Linebackers should be a priority. You see them meeting with quite a few, but only 2 at the combine. But at pro days, they're spending some time looking at some linebackers, and then a safety or a corner there as well. So that's where this team rounds out right now. This is where we're sitting with the salary cap, 53-man salary cap. Subtract another 1.2 from there. We're probably sitting 7.5 to start the season as things stand. But, we can cut Chris Williams. We can cut Ryan Bates. I don't think we'll cut Ryan Bates at this point. That's not $4 million anymore. That's 3.5 because he did get his $500,000 roster bonus. So let's take this off. Man, you guys got some good. We could do a whole episode of just questions and stuff. So I think one of the things Atmos is implying there. I don't know if you guys saw this from me, but I pulled up UNLV's. Let me share this with you guys. I don't know if everybody saw this. Let's show here. Okay, give me 1 second. Present an image from the draft. 25 draft, and it's going to be this one right here. Don't know if you guys saw this, but I updated this. Kylan James from UNLV is the second best at breakaway yard percentage this last year. I didn't have him on the list originally because he's a projected UDFA, but if you look at all his stats, he's right up there with Ashton Genty, Bashal Tutton, Caleb Johnson. Just got significant less reps. So is the reality that Ashton Genty and Kylan James had a weaker conference to play against, and so they got 7 yards per attempt and 5 yards after contact. That's the more realistic scenario of the situation. There are max truck size hole when you're playing lower competition. Put either way. And I'm a UNLV guy, so I should have showed this earlier, but I wasn't really looking for the argument's sake. But it is true. Either Kylan James is a steal of this draft later on as a UDFA, or Ashton Genty played some lower level competition. That's just the reality of the situation when you look at that stuff. Not a 4-3 or not a 4-2. It was a 4-2-4 and a 4-2-6. So we kind of went over that just a minute ago. Yes, definitely some good showing by him there. So here's what it looks like on when you're breaking down the positions. So here's the positions need. We still have, as we head towards the draft, RB1, RB2, linebacker, tight end 2 would kind of be the biggest priority, but then backups and solid rotational guys. Nose tackle, defensive end, safety heading into next year, cornerback as well. Maybe we don't need a cornerback anymore after we signed the one we did from the Giants and the Niners, and then guard and tackle would be a priority there. But as we go through each position, so this is where we stand as it is right now. Caleb and Tyson. There's our running back room. Move on to the line. Here's our line, and I think we definitely need an interior guy and a tackle as well. Karan Amagaji, I'm not done with yet. 36-inch arms, and he wasn't expected to play last year. So we definitely have a need there to improve him and bring in some competition still. I'm going to get to the chat in just a second here, guys. We'll address some of these things. Receivers, tight end. I think our 5 are rounded out. I don't think we're necessarily having to take a wide receiver, but I think we could. Defensive end, defensive tackle, still a priority to me. I think we still need to, but we're going to add quite a few here for camp bodies. We're going to have to add some more, probably UDFAs, maybe 1 or 2 in the draft would be my opinion. And then let's get here to linebackers. I think linebacker needs to be a priority. And last but not least, cornerbacks and safeties. You see, maybe Nick McLeod fills that role behind Jalen Johnson. He's a good, emergency guy. Tyreek Stevenson, Terrell Smith can duke it out for the other cornerback spot. And the other one can fill in when you need to. Good options there, but definitely need another option at safety for next year because all 4 of those guys right there, Brisker, Bayard, Owens, Hicks, all in the last year of their contract. So there will be part of where we spend money next year. All right, let me remove this. Let's get into chat. Let's got about 6-7 more minutes here. So any questions you guys have, let's lay those down. I'll look through the chat right here. Let's see. Realistic targets at 10. I like this one. I think the most realistic targets are 10 are any of the 3 defensive tackles, and I think the Bears are high on all 3 of them. They met with Walter Nolan. They met with Mason Graham. Kenny Grant, they were at his pro day, and they were spending significant time there looking at him. Nobody else was really there. Will Johnson didn't compete, and Mason Graham didn't compete at the pro day. They didn't participate. So I think that's a realistic spot. Any one of those defensive tackles, I think it's realistic that they could like a defensive end there if they really fall in love with Mike Green, if they fall in love with JPJ. Now I just screwed myself up by using an issue. James Pierce Jr. You say that, and it reminds me of last year with Jackson Powers Johnson. That's obviously not who I'm talking about, but James Pierce. And I can see Josh Simmons if he does well. I can see an offensive lineman. I don't see Will Campbell being it. I don't see that being the way the Bears go. I don't see that happening. So let's look at a couple other of these. Yeah, Durham Smythe is not a tight end 2. That's not a tight end 2. He's a tight end 3. We had to replace Mercedes Lewis, and so getting Durham Smythe is tight end 3. There's no shot he's not tight end 2. The Bears are clearly interested in tight ends. If we add this back on and you go back here to the combine visits, let me get the right place. Where are we at? Come on, find the right spot. Combine visits. See how many tight ends we interviewed at the combine, and it's here in the second, third round range. Mason Taylor, who we have a top 30 visit scheduled with, so we're clearly interested in tight end. Tyler Warren, first round, who we met with at the combine. Gunnar Helm, Terrence Ferguson. Tight end is clearly a need for the Bears, and it's clearly something they're going to target for sure. So you pick up someone like Durham Smythe, and I had the Jacksonville one as a free agent as my projection before we signed Durham Smythe. You pick that up as an option to fill out the wide receiver, or to fill out the tight end room, to help with blocking and to help on special teams. Special teams, your defensive ends, your cornerbacks, your gunners, and your tight ends are really valuable on special teams to be able to hit and to block and to get things done. So let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, after his pro day, I do think it's enough to raise some people's radar. If you look at the game he played against Josh Simmons and against who's the other, Donovan Jackson, he got blown out. He doesn't have enough of a package. His stats from Marshall, same thing, small school. His stats are off the page, and you guys know I love stats, but they're extremely exaggerated because he didn't play quality competition all the time. At Ohio State, if you watch the tape nonstop, he was blown back and he could not get past those big tackles. So worries me at the next level. I've said this all along. I wouldn't take Mike Green in the first. I would take him in the second round as a prospect, but I think the Bears want to go bigger. I think Landon Jackson would be great to learn behind Deo Odengbo. I think Landon Jackson is the perfect size for that. Not enough, bend in him. He's not quite your flexible guy. But a good prospect to learn behind and very big and tough. Take Arroyo at tight end, something that isn't Kmet. Arroyo would be fun with his hands. I think there's injury concern there too, but I think Arroyo would be a fun prospect as well. Rate this offense, Levante Rogers says. All right, you guys rate this offense in the chat. Rate this offense. Caleb Williams, Quinshad Judkins, who's going to be more of your bell cow, more of your tough, get those tough yards. He's not going to be your finesse guy, but tough guy. DeAndre Swift, more of your finesse guy. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Isaiah Bond, Cole Kmet, Tyler Warren. To me, obviously, that's an A+. What else did we do, though? That's offense. What else did we do? Did we help the defense in any way possible? I kind of like that. Levante, I like that. Harold Fannin, same thing. Lower level competition, same thing. He screams off the chart with his stats this year. We should do a whole episode where you guys ask about someone and I pull up their PFF stuff and then I pull up film on them. That'd be actually kind of fun. That would be a lot of fun, actually. Harold Fannin has a few too many red flags to me. He doesn't move as smooth as Mason Taylor or as smooth as Elijah Arroyo. So I don't like Harold Fannin as much, but I wouldn't be upset with him. He's still one of my top 5. I think as long as we take one of those top 5, I'd be happy with that. So I think one of the biggest things we forget as a fan base very quickly, since we signed such a quality offensive line. Let me go back here and come back to this. We forget so quickly the issue last year was not our backup, or was not our starters. We had a decent, it's not as good as this year's. Our offensive line this year is, I think, honestly, top 10 without even playing a snap together. Now, they're going to have to play some games together to get some cohesion. They're going to have to develop that. But you've got Braxton Jones, who was number 14th ranked left tackle last year. He's coming off injury, but those who didn't see that, we can go back to Twitter real quick and show that. He took the boot off. So the boot came off yesterday. It'll take a month or two to get him to get back up to normal speed, and then he can get in the weight room and hit that hard, by May. By June, July, you're well into camp. He should be up to full speed. Hopefully he can just get his muscle mass back and get a stronger base underneath him. We'll see how dedicated and motivated he is. He's on a contract year, so he should be. But Braxton Jones did take his boot off yesterday. But you got Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, who not the best pass pro. Now, I've broken him down. I need to do a full video on Drew Dahlman so you guys see. 1-to-1, he stays really well with guys. But in pass pro, He often bends at the waist, not at the knees. And that gets him lunging forward sometimes, and guys can take advantage of him. But he has very good one-on-one breaks, and he sees the field well. But he's probably the best run blocking center in the entire league. He's just built like a freaking monster. He's muscle from head to toe, and he's very strong, and he can lay guys out. Jonah Jackson, we're kind of banking on his years with the Lions, hoping we can revitalize and have him back to his prime form. Hopefully we get that. And then Darnell Wright, number 4th ranked right tackle last year. So our starting 5 is fantastic. But when you got Karan Amagaji, who needs to develop, this is a big year for him because we did not expect Karan Amagaji to even touch the field last year. And because all the starters were injured, many of the backups were injured, he got thrust into that role. He had to play last year, and he played bad. I agree with you guys, but he wasn't even in camp. He wasn't even up to speed. Like, people are worried about Braxton Jones this year. He'll be ready for camp. He won't be ready for April 7th when the Bears can report for the first week where they get to meet with, because the teams with new coaches get to have a week of camp. Basically, it's light camp on April 7th. And that's when Ben Johnson will have all the guys in there, all 90, however many we have on the 90-man camp. It won't be completely filled out, but it should be decently filled out with a 75 plus a bunch of UDFAs. And then right after the draft, you'll see us fill in those final slots, and we'll update you on every one of those as they come along. You see up on the right here below the bear down, 2014, we had 16 at 90-man camp on the offensive line. Right now, we have 8, 9, 10, 14. So we probably only add a couple more on the offensive line. But other positions, if you go look at the receivers, tight ends, we had 10 wide receivers. Right now we have 8, so we'll probably add a couple more. And we had 6 tight ends. Right now we have 5, so we'll probably add 1 more. So different positions will have bigger needs for us to fill. But our backups were the big issue last year. And if you're going into this season with Karan Amagaji, Ricky Stromberg, or Doug Kramer, and Ryan Bates as our only backups, we do have to supplement this through the draft. So all depends on the offensive line performance. An injury is going to hit at some point this season. Drew Dahlman was injured for half the season last year, guys, with an ankle injury. Now, obviously, he came back and he was fine, but he was injured half the season. Braxton Jones was injured for a third of the season last year. This will happen. So we do have to address. I'm not saying it has to be in the first round, but it does need to be addressed, and I hope it's addressed fairly high. I would love to see us draft someone in the second round like Ariante Ursary, who to me is one of my favorite second-round prospects. His comp is Trey Smith, for those who don't know. I mean, his size, his athleticism, the way he plays is almost identical to Trey Smith. So get him behind Joe Thuney. Obviously, he played tackle at Minnesota, but moving him to guard with an option to kick out if you need to, if major injuries happened, or if Braxton Jones was injured and Karan Amagaji was not up to speed, you could have an Ariante Ursary fill in there. That's kind of my dream right there in the second round, is to get Ariante Ursary. I would love to have him as the left guard backup, and then Holland Pierce as my right tackle or left tackle. Karan Amagaji swinging to the other side, and have Holland Pierce in the 5th round developing. That's my dream scenario. I love that option. But you're spot on, JC1. All depends on that. We need some more help on the offensive line. We do need some more help on the offensive line. So let me take just a couple more of these. We need to do a whole episode where we do mailbag, where we just kind of chat. And this is what we could do. Does that interest you guys at all? I'm doing like a 24-hour coverage. I'd get other people to come on and chit chat, and other what do you call us? Podcasters, other content creators. And I'd get a lot of stuff created beforehand. We do it, obviously I'm not going to, maybe we'd have some kind of video rolling in the middle of the night for you crazy. Some of you guys have joined me in the middle of the night. So that's kind of crazy stuff. But I mean, I've released some stuff when I got done at 4:00 at my time, which is 6:00 your time. Man, Emin Wari, you guys know I love Emin Wari. I think he's a top 10 talent. I don't think he'll be there. I think he'll be gone by the mid-20s at the latest. So yes to mailbag. Yes, some of you guys like these ideas, so we're going to rock with some of these ideas. I like it. And I can always do stuff like this where I bring out some crazy stats where a lot of people don't know some of these things, like Caleb Johnson, Kylan James. In fact, if I go and show you guys this, I think you guys would be kind of surprised at some of these things that I could show you guys. Let's see. I don't have that one ready. Screw it. Let's find it anyways, and let's do it. Here's premium stats. This is off receiving grades last year. This is last year. Those who don't know, and I can get all stuff prepared for you guys on this stuff, but here's Rome last year. This is over when those who took 50% of the team's, priority of snaps. If you bring it down closer to like 33%, that's like 55 out of 175, 57 out of 175. So take a third of the team stats and, Keyshawn Boot from New England, Mute, however you say his last name, beat him on contested catches. But there's not many that beat him. As a rookie, there's only been one other rookie in the last decade that's had that high contested catch. I'm going to do a whole episode on Rome Odunze, his route running, how it came along, his ability to separate, his sideline ability to grab and toe touch. Him with all these guys on his rookie year. I mean, all these guys are, really good players in the league. You get Keenan Allen at 17. For him to lead the league on 50%, Keyshawn Boutte with 33% of snaps. For him to lead the league on this on year one as wide receiver 3, guys, I'm telling you right now, he is going to be A.J. Brown. He's going to be a top 10 wide receiver for the next decade for the Bears. His ability to contested catch, his ability to separate, his size, his high point. His very first catch in the league against the Titans was that one that got tipped and he jumped. I mean, he had to be 11, 12. He would definitely be above a basketball rim when he caught that freaking ball. He had to be up there, and then he grabbed it. He did fumble. He grabbed that, ran, and then they knocked it out of his hands, and he felt, first catch in the league. Welcome to the league. Where was I going? Oh, running backs. Let's go college. I know, it's space brain. I got to get off here, too, and get back to my work here in just a second. But NCAA, take the snaps away. Running back position. We're going to go not receiving. We're going to go running. So running, minimum rush attempts will go 20%. It's not of 0. It's going to calculate 20% of total snaps by anybody. You can see the best running grade was Ashton Genty. Fluff Bothwell from South Alabama was second best running grade. So Fluff Bothwell, I freaking love that whenever I see that. Jeremiah Love, who's not draft eligible this year, Notre Dame, he's going to be a great option next year for someone. We can go by yards per attempt. And you get these guys up here, but let's scroll over here. My most important metrics when I'm evaluating running backs at the next level, elusiveness always translates very well to the NFL. So when you look at Ashton Genty, that elusiveness is still the number one. Jeremiah Love, Wayne Knight, Kylan James. So you look at some of the conference on some of these guys. James Madison, UNLV, Louisiana Monroe, Bowling Green. There's a reason some of these guys, Boise State, there's a reason some of these guys have more inflated stats than others. I am not saying Ashton Genty sucks. I'm not saying that one bit. Another one is breakaway yard percentage. Now, the graphic I showed you guys was only on this year's draft prospects. So there's a lot of these. Caleb Johnson's the number one in this year's draft. Mackenzie McGill, where's he from? North Texas. Jadarian Price, Notre Dame. Isaac Brown. Kelly Joyner, Jaden Nixon. So some of these are smaller schools as well. But this breakaway yard percentage is an important one when looking at translation to the next level as well. Caleb Johnson, that's why he's one of my favorites. Decent elusiveness grade in the Big Ten Conference. Really good breakaway yard percentage. Jeremiah Love, same type of thing. But Kylan James right there, 55.9%, 193 elusiveness grade. Very running back by committee at UNLV. So he's either going to be a steal for someone or his conference, like where is he? Ashton Genty is just a weaker conference. It has to be taken into consideration, guys. That's why I wouldn't take any running back in the first round. Bashul Tutton, I think, is a hidden gem. He's going to be a steal for someone. 4.32 speed for him as well. Travion Henderson also going to be a steal. I think he'll go second round. So we can show a lot of this stuff as well. Lots of good things to share. DJ Giddens does not quite have as good elusiveness grade, but he is very high as well. Where was DJ Giddens? RJ Harvey is high on this. DJ Giddens, he is above 50. Where is he? I just missed him. I missed him somewhere. DJ Giddens right there, 54.9. He's high. He's high. I like DJ Giddens a lot. I do. So lots to share, lots of stuff to see. So much stuff we can pull out of here. All right, what do you guys got in the chat? I got to end this thing. That's Boot, Matt Pryor. I do like Matt Pryor. Yep, take live questions and comments on your YouTube channel. We'll do that, guys. We'll do that very soon. I don't have a sleep cam. I don't have a sleep cam, but I can set up. This is I told you guys this little studio that I've created is my son's old room. My son's now 18. He's off. And so I do have a bed. I don't know if I want to sleep on camera. I could probably just roll some, loop after loop of a long things that I create and prepare for those who are interested. I can, show some prospect profiles through the middle of the night. I'd probably just take a short sleep, but sometimes I just pull all-nighters doing this crap anyway. So it could just be one of those nights where I pull an all-nighter between the draft. We'll see what happens. We have lots of options. But I would want to do it for a charity, and there's some really good charities out there. So I would want to do that and have, donations. That idea is obviously from Tom Grossi. Tom Grossi's got 200 times that. I mean, even more than that. He's close to 1 million subscribers, but I'd want to boost the subscriber count, get the channel up a little bit higher. In the process, do some kind of charity is what I would like to do. I think it'd be fun. So just ideas that roll around through my head. But let's wrap this thing up. I appreciate you guys. We can do a Q&A another time. I got to get back to work. My lunch hour is over. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's a lot of fun to interact with you guys. I appreciate the members. That's been rolling across the bottom. Those who haven't seen, if you're considering, a way to support the channel, the members do help. It's a subscription, and I'm going to try to get some more content that's exclusive to members going. But that is an update on the salary cap. Excuse me. We got about 7.5 million when all is said and done as we roll into the season. So we're pretty much wrapped up there. You'll see some league minimum contracts signed because they don't count against the cap anymore. Only the top 51 do, and you'll see the draft, and that will count as well. So appreciate you guys tuning in. It's a pleasure to interact with you guys. We'll have a show with Carl tomorrow. If any breaking news happens, I will bring that as always. And I got some other things I'm working on too. It's just a matter of getting time for those things. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, the Bears.